Yeah, for Mary's name and her fans and what we do on our website, our e-commerce site, we fully depend on our email list, our Facebook following, our Instagram following. So it's very social heavy from our side. Now, because it's a license, we don't do any of the sales for wholesale.
And I want a good show, damn it. Ready for a good show?
Doing awesome, yeah. I'm excited to talk to you, Angie. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I've always been doing big into archery, and my dad said, "Hey, you guys want to start an archery store?"
Yes, that's how it works.
Yes, of course. Let's do this together.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the E-Comm Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the E-Comm Show. As usual, I am your host, Andrew Maff, and today I am joined by the amazing Nikki Ball, who is the COO over at the Mary Engelbreit shop. Nikki, how are you doing? You ready for a good show?
Ready for a great show.
Awesome. I'm super excited to have you on the show. I know you asked already before we even started why did we want to have you on the show? And so I'm going to tell you because I'm super excited to hear this very interesting story. As I mentioned when we were talking before, so we've had people on the show that, you know, the CEO, the founder was an influencer in one way or another, and then they got into a product line that they were passionate about, and that was their story. In your scenario, I love that your cat actually did join. That is fantastic. So if you are listening to the podcast, now you got to go to YouTube because we've got company.
Adamant.
What's his name?
Reggie.
What's up, buddy? I don't know if you can hear me. But so in your scenario, your influencer, Mary Engelbreit, is also the designer of everything. So she's also like actually creating more or less, at least the designs for everything. So it's a very interesting story. And I always like to start these out kind of stereotypically and just kind of give you the floor to tell us a little bit about your background, how you got involved with Mary, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, my background is kind of all over the place as I started in hospitality, worked for hotels, Fairmont Hotel, Chicago, San Francisco, met a boy, moved to St. Louis. And my husband actually grew up with Mary's sons. So I met Mary 11 years ago when I moved here. And without knowing that I'd eventually join her in her business, just got to know Mary a little bit. And then did a little venture outside of the hospitality industry with heavy machinery and Caterpillar, where I served as an executive assistant to the COO and his 5 vice presidents, and then actually went back into fine wine, which did have a little bit of e-commerce attached to it, but only for private collectors. So it was just like a very small group, closed website, password only thing. And then healthcare broker. Why not, right? Got to learn that part. And that's when I eventually landed with Mary. She was looking for someone to kind of run the business, oversee licensing and sales and website design and e-commerce, Amazon, Target.
All the fun stuff.
So that's how I landed with Mary over, I've been there 3 years in June. So I just had my 3-year anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Very interesting background. You've been all over the place. So the business in itself, so Mary Engelbreit, an amazing illustrator, creates these awesome designs and then essentially puts them on many different types of products. And that's effectively what the offering is on the website, correct?
Yes. So we do a ton of licensing, collaborations, partnerships. We do a little bit of manufacturing and wholesale, but not a ton. Mostly licensing. Mary was named top licensor, I think it was 2002, only to be right under Winnie the Pooh.
Wow.
So
really?
Yes, number 2 at that point in time. which is really wild. That was like
Yeah.
peak Mary, when everyone, I feel like at least every like Midwest mom, and I grew up outside Chicago, so like we always had her
Hmm.
stuff, whether it was
Yeah.
magnets or posters. My mom was a teacher, so of course we had the Reed poster, and like, everybody's kitchen were cherries and checkers,
Yeah. Very interesting. So tell me a little bit about like the business and the approach. Is it kind of, Mary comes up with some like awesome design and then it gets implemented onto all of the existing products? Is it you find good products and then she designs it? Like what's kind of the overall approach to it?
I would say it's a little bit of both. Mary consistently creates. So every Monday we have our team meeting. She brings us a portfolio of work she's just been working on.
Wow.
And it could be drawings, it could be, like hand painted chairs or bangles, it could be felt embroidery, kind of
Hmm.
really anything. And we take that art, because she still does everything by hand, so nothing's done digitally. So we have two in-house
Wow.
artists that then take her art and digitize it. And from there, we put it in our database. And so it's open kind of to any of our licensees to do what they wish with it. Sometimes we know why she's creating it, like
Hmm.
specifically calendar drawings, right? She has to do those. She has to do 13 of them. She has to do them every year. So
Yeah.
those ones we specifically know what they're for. But other times she just kind of creates, and then we say, that would be perfect for this licensee. Like, let's talk to them. Let's do some more product development. Let's maybe phase out an older collection and phase in this new design. But it really, our licensees are so different, and they
Hmm.
operate on such different timetables, that we really get to do a lot of fun projects, because, our calendar license, we're talking about drawing 2028 right now, and 27's done.
Oh, wow. Really?
But
So
then we
you're
have,
that far out?
yeah, for like calendars, but then there's like other projects who are like, cross stitch kits. And she'll be like, I really want to do a collection of mermaids. And we're like, all right, here's all of our mermaid art. You
That's
choose.
very interesting.
And then,
It-
she will just make them and do them. And that's like a 2 to 3 month lead time. So we
yeah.
work in like really drastically different timelines depending on the licensee and the product.
Yeah. It is pretty cool though that you have stuff that's prepped that far out. I mean, you don't know how many brands I work with that have no idea what they want to do next month half the time. So it's pretty cool to hear like, oh, we're prepped for 2027 and we're 2 years early to it. Um,
Yeah,
Very interesting.
well, people want their calendars early. We just
Yeah.
dropped the first two SKUs of our 2026 calendar, and we
Hmm.
have two more coming in 2 weeks, and then two more coming 2 weeks after that. So we'll have 2026 calendars out and ready to buy.
Yeah. And
You
I know
know,
with calendars, I've done some work in there before. I think they get like kind of complicated, right? Because you don't want to over order because then like no one's buying them after pretty early in the year and then they're gone. So is it kind of like a limited run and you just do it as like kind of a push sort of thing?
it is. We've placed our order for 27 calendars already, so we have to forecast that pretty far in advance. And obviously, like, we go off past sales, but so does the publisher. Um,
Yeah.
so that's pretty crazy. Sometimes we can get more in, if we sell out early December, but other times they're like, nope, there's none left.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it's funny, like working with different marketing firms or agencies, they're like, hey, but this is your top seller. Like, why don't you have any more? And I'm like,
Doesn't
because
matter.
it's December 28th. We don't need any more, because we're
Yeah.
not
That's
selling
right.
calendars into, January of
Yeah.
the year that you have your calendar. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
The day-to-day calendars we can do, like we still have a couple of those. That's the only thing we didn't sell out of this last year. And we sold out super early the year before. So we have like 10 left. And there's 365
Makes sense.
days in drawings of that calendar. So at least you could still get,
Jeez.
a pretty good amount of your money's worth still buying into June or July.
Yeah. What's with that point, because obviously that immediate cliff of not selling something makes a ton of sense for calendars. Everything else obviously very different. And to your point, the calendars are prepped way in advance, but everything else it might not be as quick. So like I can see how that from a project management standpoint sounds super fun. What is the marketing approach to it? Because I know in my opinion, like anything that is very design heavy, it's one of those like beauty's in the eye of the beholder. If you could be in front of the right person at the right time with the right product, but if they don't like the design, they're not going to purchase it. So do you lean in real heavy on Mary's name and like her influence, or is there anything in terms of like educating a new market?
Yeah, for Mary's name and her fans, and what we do on our website, our e-commerce site, we fully depend on our email list, our Facebook following, our Instagram following. So it's very social heavy from our side. Now,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a license, we don't do any of the sales for wholesale. So we
Yeah.
primarily rely on our licensees, our publishers, to do that
Mm-hmm.
part. Um, with that being said, for something like calendars and books, we've been with the same publisher for 30 years.
Wow.
So they know their buyers and their buyers know Mary. And so
Yeah.
we can pretty much forecast that, you know, very accurately.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in other, collaborations where it's just like us and another artist, right? So we have dropping this Friday hand spun cotton figurines. And she is an Etsy store.
Interesting.
She's another artist. She's interpreted Mary's work as these figurines, and we'll drop them, and it'll be primarily social and our email following,
Yeah.
which is sometimes scary because you don't, especially when it's new, you don't really know like how it's going to hit your customers. But
Mm-hmm.
we celebrate Mary's 50th year in business in 2027.
Wow.
So our base is very loyal.
Yeah. I would
And we
imagine
factor,
your
yeah,
base is getting older too.
they are getting older. So hitting that new demographic is really interesting for us. We have like teamed up with some younger um, influencers, especially like in the political space, and just makers in general. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of younger artists. So, like Crystal from New York is a bit younger than Mary. We're teaming up and dropping a new notebook line with May Designs. And that's in
Wow.
like, I would say the demographic there is like 25 to 45 versus our core demographic is like 45 plus.
Interesting.
Most of Mary's like private face group buy sell trade groups, I would say, are and those Facebook groups alone have like 45,000 members.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
so
they're all
there's
buying and selling between each other for the
they're
most part.
only Mary Engelbreit products.
Very
So
interesting. That
she's
is quite the community.
it's a community for sure, and they are very opinionated. So
I
if they
bet.
don't like something, they definitely tell us. But we
That's
ask them,
good.
we get to ask them a lot, especially when we're doing designs. Like we're working on a new pillow, like throw pillows that we're going to manufacture ourselves. And, we made 3 designs and then we just straight up asked our audience,
Mm-hmm.
like, what would you
That's the
buy?
best way to do it. Yeah. I mean,
You
it's
know,
interesting. Like it's a wide product line. Like I know
oh,
you've mentioned calendars, you've mentioned throw pillows. I know you've got like activewear and the figurines. So like it's
yeah, we have tea.
it's a how
We're
many
working on
SKUs do you
like a
have? Do you know?
chocolatier. Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
Um, Because we also have so many fine art prints,
Yeah.
the SKUs are crazy. Like, we have 1,059 fine art prints right now available on the
Jeez.
website. So, total SKUs right now on our website, which we are shifting a lot of our apparel over to Amazon only, um, and on our Amazon storefront. But right now we have about 2,700 SKUs,
Wow.
which is
Interesting. Why move all the apparel to Amazon only?
Well, we can offer a better rate on shipping and free shipping on Amazon, which we can't do from our warehouse because we don't physically have the product because it's printed to order.
Okay. So is it going to be, are you doing an FBA? So basically you're getting it printed and then shipping it off to FBA and just letting them fulfill it and kind of maintaining those same designs?
Yes.
Gotcha. So basically taking some of your top sellers to kind of keep the real estate on the Amazon side, but then using the website as more of a, here's the special stuff that you can't get anywhere else kind of thing.
Correct.
That makes a lot of sense. Are you
Yeah.
putting anything else on Amazon, or is it just the apparel side?
Just the apparel. Now, all of our books through Andrews McNeil Publishing and HarperCollins, those are all on Amazon, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
was a bookstore at one
point.
point. Calendars are all on there. We have a few other licensees that sell through Amazon. So you could get our products either from our website or Amazon. And obviously, with Amazon, you want to offer free shipping to be competitive. And so
Yeah.
getting those listings up on Amazon and moving through that channel, I hope that we can reach, honestly, a broader audience
Mm-hmm.
who are looking
that
for,
makes a lot of sense.
funny shirts or funny mugs or funny water bottles, something with a saying or something with a pretty design that maybe don't know Mary, but are shopping on Amazon. Whereas keeping them on our website only is a pretty narrow, and not that narrow. I mean, her Instagram page had 4 million views in the last 30 days. So
Okay.
it's not super
Not
narrow.
bad.
But we want to be broader.
Yeah.
We need to be in
Are you
everyone.
thinking of?
I think we need to be in everyone's home to make it a little clearer for themselves.
I would agree. Are you thinking going elsewhere besides just Amazon? Are you have
We're
you ventured into
also on
the
Target
Walmarts or
Plus.
Targets?
Yeah,
Okay.
we also sell on Target Plus.
Gotcha. Anywhere in retail?
On stores, brick and mortar?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, our products are in Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Costco, Sam's Club, tons of small independent boutiques across the country.
So you're
a little bit of Ireland, and Canada.
Yeah.
So
you are all over the place. Tell me a little bit about your trick to inventory management and the operational side, because as a COO, I mean, you must have that pretty nailed down considering it's all over the place and you've got that many different channels that you're selling to.
Yeah, because most of the product is licensed,
mm-hmm.
we actually have a pretty easy job at maintaining our own warehouse inventory and forecasting with our licensees. Now, they have to do a bit more forecasting because they're the ones selling to Barnes & Noble,
yeah,
Costco, Books A Million, TJX. But in terms of our inventory management and making sure that we're usually with our licensees, the number 2 or number 3 spot of their sales deck.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Next to Barnes & Noble, that feels big.
Yeah.
Since we're just an e-commerce store without a brick and mortar. With that being said, Mary had 16 stores in the 90s and early 2000s nationwide. So, up in Chicagoland, down here in St. Louis, where we're based, Georgia, Texas, California, New York.
Yeah.
All over it was kind of like a Hallmark store.
Yeah, and it makes sense.
Only Mary.
Yeah. And I imagine there's none of them left?
None of them left. I think the last one closed right around that 2008 market.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Debacle, which is the year I graduated college, the best year to leave school.
Yeah, really.
In a recession.
Exactly. Very interesting. So what's the growth plan? You're already licensing to a ton of people. You're already selling in a bunch of places. You've got thousands of products you sell. What's the plan going forward?
So when we are looking for collaborators or licensees, we are doing a lot of smaller women-owned businesses. We want to be able to use Mary's platform to also lift up their businesses. So we have a paint by number licensee out of Oregon. She's amazing.
That's awesome.
El Cray is the name if anybody wants to check them out. Sustainable women-owned businesses is really what we're looking for. Um, Obviously, if someone comes to us and they're, like working with somebody locally in St. Louis, we're going to do that. Like we just did a collaboration with Mind Flowers, woman-owned business. She's in her, early 30s, late 20s, somewhere around there. And she hand pieces like acrylic clocks, wall art, light switch covers, outlet covers. She grew up with Mary in her house. She, how we found her was that she just made a reel on Instagram. And then I happened to know a friend of hers and they sent it to me. And at the end of her reel, she goes, maybe a possible collab. And that was last year.
Of course.
Now it's come full circle into this year. We've got earrings with her and keychains. They're so cute. And it's totally a different demographic subset. So that's the other thing we're looking for is the bringing Mary to a new generation who remembers her because of their moms and grandmas. And it just feels good and right, for them. It just feels like a nice, kind of big hug from the women in their lives who they grew up with that loved Mary or still love Mary.
That's a very, very good move. That makes a lot of sense to kind of pull on that like nostalgia emotion a little bit, which is always a hot thing. But
the 90s are back in. So that's perfect.
Great. Works out.
Yeah, we always say that was peak Mary.
Yeah. Nikki, this was great. Reggie, thank you as well, wherever you went.
Here.
Really appreciate having you on the show. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I know you're super busy. I'd love to kind of let you wrap stuff up, tell everyone where they can find out more about you and, of course, more about Mary Engelbreit.
Yeah. Well, you guys can find us online at Mary Engelbreit for Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Pinterest. We're on all those platforms, LinkedIn, of course. And watch out for Mary. She was just on Hometown on HGTV in March. If you didn't catch that episode, we designed tile for Aaron Napier. It was a super cool experience. So check out that episode. You could see us on QVC as well. We just dropped an exclusive with them earlier in June. So we just have big things coming, and we'll be exhibiting for Mary's 50th here in St. Louis if anybody's ever around.
Wow.
We'll be making that announcement on social media where that's going to be. It's going to be very cool. So we're very excited.
That's awesome. Nikki, thank you so much for being on the show. Of course, everyone that tuned in, thank you as well. Please make sure you do the usual thing, rate, review, subscribe, all that fun stuff on whichever podcast platform you prefer, or head over to the ecommshow.com to check out all of our previous episodes. But as usual, thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you all next time. Have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in to the E-Comm Show. Head over to ecommshow.com to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or on the BlueTuskr YouTube channel. The E-Comm Show is brought to you by BlueTuskr, a full-service digital marketing company specifically for e-commerce sellers looking to accelerate their growth. Go to BlueTuskr.com now for more information. Make sure to tune in next week for another amazing episode of the E-Comm Show.